Hello and welcome to our next video review, this time about the Vector Optics 4-24x56 rifle scope from the series Continental. Vector Optics was founded in 2007, and in the beginning they were an OEM producer for other companies, but in the recent years they started to focus on their own brand, and so they introduced the Continental series of rifle scopes, which are the most expensive rifle scopes, but they have the most features and are the only series from this brand with a 34mm main tube. This rifle scope features a 6x zoom factor magnification with the range from 4 to 24 with a 56mm objective lens. The reticle is positioned in the first focal plane and the turrets are in mil. With this configuration, this is a true mil tactical rifle scope. The housing is completely made out of metal with the only rubberized part on the ocular. It is nitrogen purged, which prevents internal fogging in cold weather. The length is 362mm and it weighs 855 grams. The scope is produced in China and it has a 15 years warranty. It is caliber rated up to 338 Lapua Magnum and it costs 899 euros. Vector Optics chose a very interesting magnification range because there are not many other brands which produce rifle scopes in the same range, especially with the 56mm objective lens, because most of other manufacturers produce scopes with a similar magnification but with a 50mm objective lens, which makes this scope a bit brighter when you use it in low light. Because of that, this scope can easily be compared to 5-25 tactical rifle scopes, which are also the most widespread tactical rifle scopes on the market. But what is the benefit of the lower magnification? You get a much wider field of view on the 4X, which is in this particular scope 10.2 meters. 5-25 rifle scope offer approximately 7 to 8 meters at the lowest setting, which is quite an improvement, and it makes seeking your target, or especially when hunting the animal, much quicker and easier. As I mentioned before, the reticle in this scope is set in the first focal plane, which makes it perfect for bullet drop compensation on all magnifications. There are two types of the reticle inside. Both are Christmas tree style reticles. One of them is here, the same as in this particular scope. It is a very usable reticle, but in my opinion the dot in the middle is a bit too thick. It's a 0.155 of a mil, which in my opinion covers too much of a target. This is especially noticeable if you have a small target to aim. The second reticle, which has 4 lines around the dot in the middle, has a much smaller dot. I think it's 0.04 of a mil. This makes it perfect for precise shots on very small targets. In both reticles, only the middle part is illuminated. In the reticle I showed you before, only the dot in the middle, and in the second reticle, the middle dot with 4 lines all around. The illumination has 6 intensity settings. between each setting there is an off position. All the settings are only usable for lower light. Then on the same turret you have the parallax adjustment, which goes from 10 yards all the way to infinity. Up to, let's say, 200 or 300 meters or yards, the parallax adjustment is very precise, but beyond that it gets very delicate and you have to make really small adjustments for the perfect parallax adjustment. Then both elevation and vintage turret have a locking mechanism with a push and pull design. The clicks are in milliradians, and one turn of the elevation turret is exactly 10 mil. This is great because with a round number there is a less possibility that you make some error when making the clicks. Then you have a really nice zero stop function. There is also a turn indicator, a visual and mechanical turn indicator, which pops out when you come into the second revolution, and it pops even further out when you come in the third revolution. This can be found only on mostly on very much more expensive rifle scopes, and this is a really nice feature to have. The clicks are very tactile and have a great feel to it. What's also very great on this scope is the hard zero stop, which is very easy to adjust. When you're on the range, you just make the adjustment, lock the turrets, screw this outside, and when you take the turret, inside there is a big screw. You just have to go back to the zero. When it makes a click, you just put the turret back on with the zero on the front, screw this inside, and you are already signed in. Another great feature of this scope is the additional elevation turret, which does not feature a turn indicator and no zero stop. With this turret you are able to use the entire elevation range of this scope, which is 34 mil, which is extremely much. You can use this scope also for extended long range shooting. The vintage turret does not feature a zero stop, but it features 16 mil of total travel of the reticle, in both directions 5 mil, but you can go even further. What I want to mention is also the turrets have a little bit of wobbling, both of them, and it gets even more noticeable when the turret is not locked. And what is also nice to mention is the loud locking mechanism. Normally this is not a problem if you are on the range, but when hunting you should probably avoid that. So, what do you get in the box? A user's manual, lens protection, a sunshade, a cleaning cloth, then a zeroing tool for the turrets, the additional elevation turret without the zero stop and turn indicator, some advertising material, and what I really like, that Victor Optics supplies the scope with 34mm mounting rings for mounting on the Picatinny rail. They are 18mm high and are made completely out of aluminum. And now for a short summary. What I like about this scope. First of all, the great build quality. all the parts are really nicely made completely out of metal, with the only rubberized part on the ocular. Then nice turrets with great and simple locking mechanism. It works on all positions. The zero stop works great, stops exactly on the zero. A turn indicator, a feature which is mostly found only in much more expensive rifle scopes. It is mechanical and visual turn indicator. Then the scope has two very well designed reticles, which are great for quick corrections. Optically, the scope is very well made. Also, this can be compared to some much more expensive rifle scopes. It has a big field of view, which is important for hunting and tactical shooting, because target acquisition is much faster. And also a great feature, the Picatinny mounting rings, which come with the scope, so the user does not have to buy some new. And where do I see room for improvements? First of all, on the magnification ring. It has sharp edges. I mean, this is great for grip, but in my opinion they are a little bit too sharp. Then on both turrets, this wobbling. I mean, it's not a big issue, but maybe it's an easy fix for vector optics. Then the turn indicator. It's perfect for first and second revolution, but for the third revolution the pin pops out just a fraction of a millimeter more, like in the second revolution, which is not easy to feel and to see. And the last, this locking mechanism is pretty loud. It's not a problem at all if you are on the range, but if you use the scope also for hunting, it's, I think, a little bit too loud. Okay, this was a short video review of the Vector Optics Continental 4-24x56. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and if you need some additional information, please visit the link below.